Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another live this morning, our question and answer Friday. Thank you very much for sending in so many questions, and I'll just wait here a moment to make sure people are on with us this morning. Good to have you. Good to have you on with us this morning. Somebody say hello just to make sure. Nativity, good morning to you, and Nicole, how are you? And Diane, nice to have you on with us this morning. Shelley and Jeanette, bonjour. Ronaldo from Washington State. Ronaldo, good to have you on. Okay, so we got lots of questions. Susan from Florida. And good to have you. Diane and Elaine. Jerry, how are you? I think you asked the question, Jerry. I'm going to try and answer it this morning. Jordan from sunny Edmond. Okay, well, it's sure sunny here. We've had a beautiful summer. And okay, I'll say hello to a few more. Amara. Okay, what were you saying? I have clients now hooked on you. Okay, well, that's good. We're glad that you have clients hooked on us, right? Keith, good morning to you this morning. Okay, let's go through some questions. There are lots of them. So I'll try and hit every one of them. And Carrie Ann from Oshawa, and Alan from Missouri, and Doreen from Halifax, coast to coast, all around the world. We really appreciate it. Okay, so Lorraine, good morning. Me and my granddaughter, Gracelyn. Well, how are you, Gracelyn? Good to have you on with us this morning. Okay, so Bernie, first question, Bernie was asking about moles, and I'm going to bring in another question about skin tags, okay? So remember what I say, if you see it on your skin, always check for leaky gut, leaky skin. Now moles and even skin tags, two things make things grow. You guys should know this. Two hormones make things grow. A third one in there too, but two main ones. Insulin, that's food. Estrogen, that's a hormone. Okay? Estrogen is a growth hormone. So make sure you get it down. If you've got skin tags, it's insulin. It's a sign of insulin resistance. Could be too much estrogen too, but mostly it's insulin. Get those two hormones down. The way to start is with your diet. Insulin is a food hormone. Get insulin down. It's called insulin resistance. You have skin tags, that's one of the signs. You have moles. Moles can, they can be benign, they don't mean anything, or they can turn to even skin cancer. Don't fuel the fire to make them grow. Insulin and estrogen. Now, the other one is, like I said, a third one, cortisol. Cortisol adds fuel to the fire. So that's your stress hormone. And of course, do everything you can to keep your stress hormone down. Cortisol is meant to have a part-time job. Don't give it a full-time job as much as possible, okay? So thank you very much for those questions. Anna, interesting, she says, what about homemade hydroxychloroquine made of lemon and grapefruit rinds? And, well, look, if you have COVID, these rinds might help you and they might not. I don't know about that. Like, to tell you the honest to God truth, I haven't had a lot of experience with it. So when it comes to COVID, I think we've covered that. You want to build your immune system. One of the keys is vitamin A, because that covers all your mucosa. The invisible mask, I call it, vitamin A, okay? How do you get vitamin A? With vitamin S, steak. Now, some people take vitamin A as an extra. You can take that. I have it in my Blood Boost. I have vitamin A for extra immunity, vitamin D, and they've shown this now, people that get sick with vitamin D. A study came out yesterday. People who get sick, I think I posted it, have low levels of vitamin D. You need the sun. And if you can't get in the sun, that was one of the questions too about sun. Let me touch this, okay, about tanning salons. Well, I would be careful there unless you have extremely low levels of vitamin D. Don't go to a tanning salon unless you've had your blood work done and you have extremely low levels of vitamin D. Am I against it? Be careful with that, okay? Because they're not giving you the UVB radiation, they're giving you the UVA radiation. What you want from the sun is the UVB radiation, okay? Which elevates your vitamin D levels. So I'm not against it, but again, you'd have to have extremely low, and I'd rather you take a supplement of it. Someone is asking about vitamin D too, and I'll get to that in a second, but let me just talk about the other things. So the key to the immune system is cutting your sugars out, your crappy carbs, because sugar stops your white blood cells, your T cells. It makes them go to sleep. So cut out the sugar. That works better than any homemade recipe that you can think of. Vitamin A. Eat your vitamin S to get vitamin A. If you need a little extra, you can take it. They talked about zinc. And zinc is found in vitamin S too. See? Why not hit all these things with one food? A superfood. The number one food in the universe is steak, red meat. There you go. And probiotics, of course. You got to start in the gut. Your immune system starts in the gut. And you don't want to have leaky gut. You don't want to have fungus, okay? So very, very good questions, Anna. And someone was asking about, can you reverse MS? Well, you can't reverse it, but you can put it into remission. That's the key. It's like diabetes. I've said this many a time. Look, if once a diabetic, really always a diabetic, except you can put it into remission. Now, if you go back to eating the way you used to, it'll come right back again. So the idea with MS too is I've got a protocol for MS, the reset, high levels of vitamin D, probiotics, very strict eating on the reset, and even when you come off of it, very strict, because you can put it to sleep. That's what you want to do with MS. Any degenerative disease like that, you want to put it into remission. That's the key. Now, they were asking about the myelin sheet, okay? The myelin sheet covers your nerves. That is a B12. Again, how do you get B12? Vitamin S. Vitamin S. And if you need to take B12 as a supplement, make sure you take a sublingual, a methylcobalamin. Make sure it's a methyl and not just cobalamin, okay? So these are all very, very good questions, okay? So let me see. Deb was asking about different blood pressure readings on different arms. You know, you take it on one side and it's a little bit different on the other side. Hey, that's normal, by the way. And you know what I tell people? Quit taking your blood pressure every 5 minutes. It's like taking your blood sugar. Why are you doing that? You want to get yourself uptight? Take your blood pressure all the time. You know, I know, they tell you to monitor your blood pressure. Take it once a day. No more. Like, don't do that to yourself. You know, we already have enough anxiety in the world. Do we have to make it more? It's just like the diabetic. Oh, I got to take my blood sugar, take my reading. That was brought to you by the pharmaceutical companies. They want you to take a reading. First of all, every time you take a reading, it costs $1. And I mean, of course they want you to take your readings, but you know what? Blood pressure is subject to fluctuations. Blood sugar is subject to fluctuations. When is the best time to take blood sugar? Well, in the morning. I don't care if you take it in the morning. Just understand it's going to be higher in the morning because your cortisol, when you're waking up, your cortisol is getting you going and your blood sugar is going to go up. So if you're going to take it, I would wait, till you've had breakfast. No. If you've had oatmeal, your blood sugar is liable to go up to about 21 for a few minutes. Like, that's how high and sweet oatmeal is. Never mind the other cereals, for heaven's sakes. That's why I'm so against cereals. Who dumps cereals on us? Absolutely terrible food. Brought to you by Kellogg's. I gave you some of that history, right? Okay. Gene was asking if Navitol will bring you too low. No, because Navitol isn't meant. Look, it can help people lower their blood pressure. First of all, 90% of people that have high blood pressure, it's insulin resistance. So the idea isn't a supplement, the idea is food. Now, I often use Navitol because pine bark extract is very good because why? It elevates your nitric oxide. Nitric oxide just opens your blood vessels, so your body makes nitric oxide. But as we get older, poor diet, lack of exercise, a lot of things can make the nitric oxide go down. Navitol just opens it up. It elevates your levels of glutathione. It's a powerful antioxidant, but it's never going to bring your blood pressure too low. No. It just helps open up your blood vessels. This is very, very important to understand that. All good questions. Suzanne is asking about oxidized cholesterol. Every day I get asked about cholesterol. You need cholesterol. There's no such thing as bad cholesterol. They make this thing up. I know it's controversial. Do you know that about 80% of the people ever have a heart attack have normal cholesterol levels? Blaming cholesterol is like you're looking for love in all the wrong place. Cholesterol is not the issue in heart disease. Triglycerides are. Triglycerides are. So oxidized cholesterol, Suzanne, I don't care. I really don't. I don't get uptight about it because I'm not looking at that. You can show me your total cholesterol. You can show me your oxidized cholesterol. You can show me your LDL. I don't look at it. I'm not interested. It doesn't mean nothing. It doesn't. I know that goes against the grain, but it doesn't mean anything. Your triglycerides, that's important. Your HDL, good cholesterol. All cholesterol is good in my opinion, but HDL gives me the indications I need because your triglycerides are 3 fat balls that are going through your blood vessels, and HDL, good cholesterol, is what takes those bad fats out of your body. They're transporters. You want HDL to be high and you want your triglycerides to be low. Okay? Very good. Very, very, very good questions. Okay? Does excess protein get stored as fat? No. I haven't met anybody with excess protein. Now they might have protein in the urine, but that's because their insulin is high. It's stressing their kidneys. You see, in this simplicity, I can understand how it happened. Protein in the urine must be you're eating too much protein. No, you're not eating enough protein. Protein in the urine is insulin. So does protein get stored as fat? I guess if you had to make some, your body will take protein and turn it into sugar if it's needed. You don't need a lot of sugar, obviously. Everything in your body is trying to get rid of your sugar and store it. So when you eat carbs, going to be sugar in 5 seconds. Don't fool yourself. I always tell people, don't fool yourself. Oh, doc, I need carbs. And no, you don't. You need protein. And ladies, you need protein. Most women do not consume enough protein. And this stuff that's coming out today, the meatless burgers and the soy-based foods, and guys, do you have a dog? Don't feed it to your dog. You have a cat? Don't feed that stuff to your cat. Not good for them. Dogs and cats know better than we do. They don't like that stuff. They want meat, real meat. Don't give them artificial. And you don't eat it. Soy. Soy will elevate your estrogen. We got enough trouble with estrogen today. This meatless craze drives me bonkers. Okay. Good question, so. So, does excess protein get stored as fat? No. Nobody gets fat eating protein. You eat vitamin S every day, steak. Just eat steak. Eat eggs. Eat cheese. It don't get stored as fat. Carbs fat don't make you fat. And protein don't make you fat. Carbs make you fat. 100%. Okay. Brown stain. Jerry, that's your question. Brown stains. If you see that, that's a sign of, Jerry, are you into menopause? What do we call it? Andropause? Sweating. It usually, like brown stains usually sweat. Nothing to worry about. Sweating at night. I tell you, as I get older, I need cold at night. I want my room, I tell you, it's got to be freezing. Otherwise, I don't get a good night's sleep. I start heating up. And you know what's worse for me is my feet. The rest of my body seems to be pretty good. But my feet heat up like you would not believe. And, you know, they could be freezing cold when I get into bed, but within about an hour, it's like somebody put them in an oven. And I got to keep my feet cool. Otherwise, I don't get a good sleep. So keep your room cool. But Jerry, that sweat, it can happen. A lot of women are sweating all the time. Can put a brown tinge on your sheets and your pillowcases and stuff. Lise was asking me about cupping. Cupping is a technique to increase circulation, I guess get rid of muscle spasms, stuff like that. I heard about it. I've actually seen it. Does it work? I don't know. I can't tell you. I haven't had enough experience with it to tell you whether cupping is actually quite good. I know some people talk about it being very good. I don't know. I mean, I can Google it and, I don't know if it's good science or not. Okay? I don't know. So, is that all right if I say I don't know? I don't know. When I don't have a lot of experience with anything, I'm just going to give you either I don't know or an opinion based not on experience. I like to give you my experience. 46 years in practice. I'd rather give you that when I know. And some things I just don't know much about. Okay? Pauline is talking about a scalloped tongue. Well, look, That's a good question, Pauline. And she did the reset, and her scallop tongue didn't go down. Usually, what I find with the tongue, if you get, there's a couple of things. One, the size of the tongue. So when you get sleep apnea, I did a whole show on this. Your tongue is enlarged. When you go on the reset, you actually shrink the tongue. And this is why snoring usually gets a lot better. And so does sleep apnea. Okay? And you know me, guys. You know where I come from. I want you to think about this. Today, it seems like every second person has sleep apnea. Right? Oh, I got sleep apnea. I got to wear the machine. I can't even get my driver's license unless I wear that machine to bed, and they can monitor that. It's pretty scary, right? They can monitor the machine to see if you're using it every night, and they can lift your license. It's amazing. We have a police state. But I always go back, like, if I've seen so much more sleep apnea than I used to, well, it's not oxygen. The bottom line isn't oxygen. I know they put oxygen right up to your brain and it helps the machine. But what causes it? What causes it? And why so much today compared to before? The tongue. But even then the tongue swells. The tongue swells. But why? See? What's a growth hormone? You guys know this. What's a growth hormone? Has to do with food. Insulin. It's amazing. Now, Pauline, you tried it and the reset and it didn't get better. I would do it again, but it may be, because here's what I found with the tongue too. A lot of times people are chronically dehydrated. They dehydrate very quickly. And they don't keep up the water levels that they need. Add a little bit of Himalayan salt to your water. Make sure you're using enough salt on your food. Himalayan salt. Use the pink salt. It's the best. Okay? So another one can be anxiety. See, cortisol makes everything worse. So when you have stress, that will take insulin and make it worse. That's why I wrote the book, Serial Killers, 2 hormones that want you dead. So isn't that interesting about the tongue? You're right, Teresa. It's interesting. Because a lot of people never get to the bottom line. They just, you can imagine if you were in the business of making sleep apnea machines, you'd be giving everybody a high five because every second person seems to have sleep apnea. But why? I'm a why guy. It has to do with the elevation of insulin. Insulin is gone up 1,000-fold since the 1970s. It's created havoc, and it's created a whole range, and it's made everything worse in those chronic diseases, from diabetes to cancer to cardiovascular disease. Because here's what they're saying about sleep apnea. If you have sleep apnea, your chances of having a heart attack are much worse than the regular population. Again, why don't they ask the question, why? It's not a lack of oxygen that causes you to have a heart attack. It's not a lack of oxygen. It's elevated insulin. Insulin resistance. Very good questions, Pauline, okay? Diane is asking why she's not absorbing iron. Well, that can be twofold, really. I'm not big on taking iron as a supplement unless you're really anemic, okay? And then I give you the right iron, heme iron, that doesn't come from vegetables but from vitamin S. Heme iron. But it's better to eat your iron with steak. Here we go again. Where is heme iron found? Where is B12 found? Because if you have trouble absorbing iron, a lot of times it's your B vitamins, right? B12, more in particular. They tell you to take iron with vitamin C. Well, just drink your coffee. You're not, Diane, you're not drinking enough coffee. But no, at the bottom, again, Diane, what's the bottom line? Because I look at, why are you not absorbing your iron? Yeah, could be B12, could be that. Here's another one, leaky gut. Because people with IBS, IBD, diverticulosis, celiac, Crohn's, often are anemic. Why? They don't absorb in their gut what they need. It's the gut absorption where you have iron deficiency for a lot of people. Have to look at all those. B12, take a sublingual B12 for sure, for sure, for sure. Now, Joy was asking about, now, it was spelt to me as like crepes, crepey skin. Did you mean creepy skin? You know what, Joy, you got to get back to me, Joy, because I didn't understand the question. What causes creepy skin? Are you saying saggy skin? Or is there an actual word that is spelled C-R-E, like a crepe that you would eat? Maybe there is. I've never heard of it, okay? So, don't mind my ignorance, but guys, skin, okay? Skin. It's what you see. It's the largest organ in your body. To take care of your skin, you must first start inside out. Probiotics are wonderful for skin. Leaky gut, leaky skin. You have any blemishes, psoriasis, eczema, dermatitis, any kind of thing on your skin, start with your gut. Start inside out. Antioxidant, inside out. Anti-aging. Glycation. You know what glycation is? Rusting out of your skin and joints. That's normal to some extent. We rust out as we get older, but you want to minimize that. You want to minimize that. Yeah. So let me show you this. Let me show you this. It's the new Rivera is back. Okay? The new Rivera is back. Finally, we reformulated it. You know me, I've always talked about, okay, so this is with pine bark extract, pycnogenol, and I put some on my skin yesterday because it just came back. Hallelujah, we finally got it, our Rivera, okay, so this is the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest skin product that there is right there. In all the years of formulating and doing my thing, and Junior's even better than I am at it. And Dr. Junior, this is the best. This is the best, okay? So, anti-aging, you want to keep your skin collagen with elasticity, okay? So this is part of, but you have to start inside and then on the outside. Very, very good questions. But Joy, correct me if there's some specific condition of the skin that I don't know about and I've never heard about in my life. I like learning, by the way, okay? So if I got that wrong, okay? Kobe was asking about cold sores. Well, cold sores are viral. So the very same thing that I talked to you about in terms of COVID. COVID is a virus. Cold sores is the herpes virus. Okay? Shingles is the herpes virus. Somebody asked me, what do I think about the shingles vaccine the other day? Well, I don't know. It's only been out for a few years, and, what are the long-term effects? I have no idea. But I'm always the guy to talk about when cold sores come out, you know what's happening? I can tell you without exception. when a herpes virus, like herpes zoster, which is shingles, herpes simplex, which is a cold sore, when that comes out, look, the virus got active. See, those viruses always just stay dormant in your body. It's like, guys, the coronavirus, you could have it. So what? You know, people are coming at me. They're upset because they said, well, look at the United States and all their... So what? No, really. There's thousands of people that have it. Yeah, but it's because they're being tested. It doesn't mean they're sick. It doesn't mean the hospitals are overwhelmed. It's like the herpes virus. You get the chicken pox as a kid, you got the herpes virus. Now keep it to sleep. The herpes virus will just stay dormant in your body. If your immune system is good, so vitamin A, vitamin D, I like L-lysine. Eat your L-lysine. You know how you get L-lysine? Eggs, meat, and cheese. L-lysine is not in the plant kingdom. It's an amino acid that helps. Okay? If you have low levels of B12, that can be a factor, especially in cold sores. But what I tell people is, look, keep your immune system strong and keep your stress down, because usually the thing that tips it, the thing that makes cold sores and shingles, almost invariably, without very few exceptions, is when you go through a stressful time. That's when cold sores come out. It's cortisol. It's cortisol. Uptight. Ooh. And that's because I explained to you, I think it was earlier this week I did this. When your cortisol is high, your immune system is low. When you're stressed, you're not thinking about immunity. Your body goes into the fight or flight. It's not meant to be. You see, cortisol pours gasoline on the fire. Makes things worse. It makes things worse. Okay. So, good questions, Kobe, okay? Merv is asking about normal acidity. Okay, I don't talk about pH that much. I mean, I do and I don't. Because to me, it's very simple. Look, your blood will stay in a range, 7.3 to 7.4, slightly alkaline. Your body will do everything it can to keep your blood pH in that range. Okay? Very important. Now, your stomach, of course, has a very different pH, like 1.5. Shouldn't be above that. It's very acidic. It's a furnace. But to keep your pH in that range, your body has all sorts of buffering systems, including baking soda, to make your pH stay in that range. Because if it goes out of that range, that's what ketoacidosis is. Like, ketosis is good for you, but ketoacidosis, that's where doctors often get confused. Because they see ketosis on a urine strip. You know, they get all uptight, but that's ketosis. That's different than ketoacidosis. Like, a diabetic is going to be very careful because their pH, when their kidneys are not functioning properly, your lungs and your kidneys have the biggest responsibility in terms of making your pHs. So, listen, in food, very good question, Merv. But here's the answer. Okay, how do you keep your pH, your tissue pH? How do you keep it within good limits? Cut out the sugar. So when you read online that, oh, don't eat acidic foods like tomatoes, steak, they say is acidic, coffee, don't drink coffee, it'll make you acidic. BS. That's not true. Your body takes coffee and it makes it alkaline. Your body takes steak and it makes it alkaline. Your body takes a tomato, and by the time it gets into your gut, it's alkaline. So don't believe that nonsense. The only thing that your body can't change its pH of is when you're consuming sugar. That's acidic. So it's very simple. Cut the sugar out of your diet. That's what's acidic. And that's what makes glycation. And that's what makes oxidation. And that's what changes your pH. It's sugar, not steak. There are two S's, but one's good and one's bad, okay? So very, very, very good questions, Mur. Okay, hey, we've got to get going here. I got a few more. And now I won't go. Neutropenia, Sandra was asking, that's when you have too many, not enough white blood cells, neutrophils, which is part of your immune system. And she was asking about in African Americans. That's a genetic thing, okay? But when it comes to blood, remember, you want to make your blood good. Your blood is just a reflection of what you're eating. So eat well. Eat well. You want to make blood? You want to make more red blood cells? You want higher levels? B12 helps with red blood cells, right? Heme iron helps with red blood cells. It's vitamin S. And quit eating crappy carbs. Marilyn, pain in her legs, her veins. Okay, well, I love Navitol because of nitric oxide. You want to help your circulation. It's the best, man. Hazel, plantar fasciitis. Well, I'm going to tell you something. That's insulin. It's part of glycation. Cut your sugars out of your diet. It's amazing. Tendons and whatever. People can't get over how much better they are when they change their diet. That's why the reset is so good. Now, look, plantar fasciitis can be because you got terrible metatarsal arches and that too. That can certainly have an effect on that. Roll a ball under your foot and wear orthotics, or I like, it's very important to take care of your feet. I asked about regenerating myelin. Well, yeah, you can regenerate to some extent myelin with B12. Judy's asking about her fingernails. If they're lifting, you got fungus. Thyroid can have an effect, but usually it's leaky gut. I should say this too. Leaky gut, leaky nails. How do you like that? I didn't even think about that till this morning. And Barbara, this is a good question. Barbara's asking, should I remove amalgam fillings? You got those dark fillings in your mouth. Should I have them removed? I'd be very careful with that. Okay? And of course, if they're leaking, you go to a dentist, demand the white fillings. There's no reason for them to use mercury anymore. Would I get them removed? I'd be very careful with that, unless they're leaky. I'm more into, make sure you take broad spectrum probiotics, okay? Broad spectrum probiotics. And they will help you to leach out. I talked to you about this yesterday, about probiotics and what they do. Phages, what they do, bacteriophages. And they chelate heavy metal right out of your body. Could they see what latches onto the heavy metal is candida. It's yeast. It's fungus. You latch that out of your body. Leach it out, Not latch. Yeah, I guess you can latch it. Get it out. Leach it. Chelation, it's called. I love probiotics for that. Okay, so, hey, I went a little bit fast at the end just to try and get to everybody's question, but we sure appreciate it. Okay, so, lots of new stuff coming next week. Don't forget the gel, okay? I think it'll be on the website by Tuesday. I don't know. I don't do that part of it. It's back, okay? So we're really excited about that. And we'll talk to you next week. Love you guys. Have a great weekend.